everybody, and welcome to the Nerdverse Odyssey, episode 29? Boys, 29? Is that where we're at?
30.
You know, I thought we were on 30, bud.
We hit the big 30. Congratulations. We are now in the point of our career where we could become cougars, according to modern day standards. Anyway, I'm your host. Hi, my name is Nico. And I'd like everybody to know that I am fat. Anyway, to my left, well, left on from where I'm looking. No, actually, I got it mirrored. I'm smart. Anyway, fuck it. To my left, we have the one, the only, and by only I mean the only man on this podcast who'd fuck the green M&M, Mr. Glenn. How you doing?
Hey, listen. Sometimes you need a piece of sweet candy. And
oh God! Okay, no, stop.
A hard
stop,
shell.
Stop.
I'm just saying, totally would.
And ladies, he'll melt in your mouth and not in your hand. Anyway.
I'd do both.
Ew. Anyway, down below we have
your boy can reload.
Hopefully not tactically. Anyway,
just apply sports. Apply sports.
That's down below we have the one person on this podcast who can safely handle a Wookiee in a cage. Mr. Rico, how you doing?
How's everybody? Feeling great. Feeling good.
I really like your setup there, Rico. It's looking rather professional.
It changes literally every day. Well,
I like
every
it,
time
though.
we do the podcast.
Like, it's definitely themed. It's organized. It's clean. It doesn't have the vestiges of small children that one of these days I'm going to have my own space. One of these days I'm going to have my own space, believe you me. And I have some hope because of you, Rico. You give me hope.
Hey, if it's any consolation, I have space that is fairly clean. I just live like
it's not about there you go.
Campground raccoon.
Somebody is the focus, and Nico comes in. I need you to calm down, all right?
I'm not going to calm down. No, fuck you. Because y'all started this shit.
I'm going to say that is not your space.
Podcast with, damn it, it's arena shooter. Got you.
No, to Glenn, to your point, it's been years of cultivation because of that. My kids range from what 20.
You have a small like tribe that lived in your house at one point.
Yeah, we started early.
Lucky.
It was like 2021 when my first kids were born, my twins, and then
wait. Did you say 2021 your twins were born?
Yeah, I had my first kids at 21, I believe.
Oh, I thought you said 2021 as in the year. I was like,
no.
The math's off there, homie.
But I mean, this is just the cultivation of trying to carve out a spot because, during that time was military, then civilian life, and then as they got older, because like I said, I've mentioned it before, they've hidden PlayStation cards, they've hidden all types of stuff, knock stuff down. I used to have a DVD. I used to stack my DVDs, and then somebody would push them all down because they think it's funny, and then I come back like, what is cultivation? So
and see, that is why I learned with my first child, all disc-based games and movies go into CD holders, and the cases get yeeted out of existence, unless the video game ones. Those are in a box in storage. Well, on the roof of my garage,
and I was going to say, Nico, it's not necessarily your space because you have a baby gate around your arcade machine.
Okay, so here's the thing: that baby gate is not for the baby. That's for the rabbit. Because that little fucker will eat my arcade cabinet. And it's not the arcade cabinet. It's actually the TV stand, which has all the retro consoles on it. And those cables can get expensive if you have to replace all of them. So
I see.
That is why we baby gate. So he doesn't eat the books and he doesn't eat the cords.
I see. Okay. So you aren't owned by children, human beings. You're owned by a small animal that I might enjoy as a side dish.
Yeah, he's about a 5-pound, 4-foot long asshole.
Hey, he looks about ready for dinner. That's what he looks like.
Yeah, dude. Hey,
fucking rabbit though. Anyway,
a light appetizer.
Well marbleized. He would smoke rather well, I think.
Listen, I don't think you'd want to eat him. I don't think he eats well enough to be Don't. It'd be really grisly.
Make him into some
fat. Anyway,
stew him into some Hassenpfeffer.
Fat rabbit and how you guys think he'd be delicious in a stew. How about we talk about dumb shit? Go. Rico, your week. Go.
Okay. Well, before I start my week,
why you call him week, bro?
The actual gorilla drawings I got from a guy. I'm probably gonna mess up his name, but Johnny Singleton. You can find him on Instagram. I'll post him on here. Met him at. Where did I meet him at? I think it was Awesome Con is when I first met him. Awesome Con is no longer here, unfortunately.
Wait, where did Awesome Con go?
What's you call that word? Dissolved.
Really?
Like they had it for a couple of years, and then I don't know what happened. I used to follow. Well, I haven't been on Facebook in a while, but there's 3 guys that ran it. One guy who was running Heroic L Works, which unfortunately they closed down too.
I heard they closed down.
The whole super comic nerd Doctor Who theme brewery, they closed down, but they also supported them. But yeah, as far as my knowledge, I think it just got too expensive for them to do it, and this was before Comic-Con. But it was great because it was fairly priced, and of course that was the only one where we actually were able to get a hotel room. Because they had this stuff in the convention hall they had over there. This was in Fairfax, and we were able to get a room up top. So we just walked around until we got tired and went to our room. So it was great. I think that was one of the first ones I took Sebastian to Comic-Con on that one. And of course, the other one was
Rico. We're still up for VCW November, right? It's coming. VCW in November. It's coming soon. They're playing at
VCW.
VCW. Yeah, the wrestling show. They're coming back to Virginia, or they're coming back to Fairfax, or wherever the fuck we were.
Definitely let me know. I haven't seen no notification.
The tickets haven't gone up yet. When they do, I'll let you know because I'm getting front rows this time. I'm paying that $50.
Yeah. Week real quick. Really was just driving again, left seat, right seat. Actually, trusted my son, who now is 20, to drive while I try to guide him and not make him nervous. So I know you guys have kids, and as you grow up, hopefully by then the vehicles can drive themselves, and you don't have to worry about driving your kid. But for mine, I'm just trying to get him familiarized with it, especially in our area.
Can I interject? I hope that cars aren't all self-driving at that point, because I would like my children to actually know how to use a vehicle in case the system decides to just go like, I don't feel like driving right now. And then they have to take over. I would rather have them know what they're doing instead of panicking and dying in a fire.
No, it's too late. Society's gonna move that way.
That's fine. I'll go buy a beaten up old Ford Focus and teach them.
You might as well, because by then it's gonna be more than computerized to a point where you can't fix it. But that's another story.
Oh, dude, that's a whole other podcast, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Oh, because I got something else on that one too. But
fuck it, let's go into it. Let's do it. We're now the Mechanic Verse Odyssey. All right, let's go.
Hey,
I'll save that for next.
I freaking love mechanic stuff. I'll get my buddy Rusty on here.
He's probably.
Hey, we could talk about the John Deere farming equipment fiasco.
Dude,
with how farmers
the fucking right to repair got in on that shit too.
Yeah.
Like, Lewis Rawson's been fighting that fight for like 2 years.
Yeah. And then the problem is, too, is that when they go for repairs, they'll say, hey, this part is obsolete, and we can't fix this for you. And they're like, well, where can we get this stuff to fix it? So a lot of people now are looking for older equipment from, I would say, from at least from many generations, but there's from the video, I think they made it into like 80s and 70s. People were trying to pay a premium price to get those.
They're trying to basically make John Deere a subscription service.
Yep.
Yeah. Like the BMW, like the Tesla. Because I think BMW or Lexus was trying to do it to where if you wanted heated seats are in your vehicle, you have to pay a subscription to it to use heated seats.
They can suck the fattest part of my ass.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's the more we get dependent on technology, yes, it gets kind of scarier, because now it's like, again, it's like your kids, if you show them a rotary phone, you have to explain it to them because they wouldn't know how to operate it.
Well, see, there's a reverse side to that too. Like, look at how many people in 2024 don't even know how to use a fucking computer. Like, listen.
Or let alone build one. Jesus, it's like Legos.
Oh yeah.
Look, I'm not the smartest man in the world, and I
Legos
never
up
dealt
until
with
you get to the
computers
point
like
where you
that.
actually have to do the wiring. Like, yes, they are marked, but finding them sometimes can be a bit of a pain in the ass.
Or soldering, a part onto your board.
Yeah, I've never had to do that. I'm very glad I didn't. But no, it's like we're at a point where you need technology to function, yet there are still people out there who don't even know what the fuck a computer is. Like it honestly baffles me.
Yeah, but is it a lack? But with that, is a lack of access to it? Like, not to get into the weeds, where like you have some inner cities where they may not know how the computer runs because they can't get to a computer or have
No,
access.
we're
Like in
talking.
schools, for example.
I was speaking to somebody today who I literally gave very simple instructions. Go ahead and open up Microsoft Edge and go to office.com. And the dude was like, "Whoa, buddy, I'm not Bill Gates, okay? I don't know how to do that." And I'm like, how the fuck do you not know how to go to the internet and go to a website?
Was it an age thing?
No, the dude was maybe like in his 50s.
I was also going to say things like building your own ISP. Apparently, like that's like so gate kept. I think that's one of the main reasons why is because like whenever it comes down to I guess making your own thing, you're not able to do it because of the fact that the requirements and the equipment that you require to build it to where you have your own self-sustaining something, it stops. You're not able to because like let's say ISP, you need a T1 connection, some way somehow through a tier 2 or tier 3 connection, and a lot of times it costs more just to do that, and minimum amounts of traffic and other crazy crap that the barrier to entry to do it is so high that you just have to purchase it from somebody who's been around for a couple of decades.
Yeah, but then like it's also kind of interesting because then you get like where where the consumer will find a way to circumvent the bullshit. Case in point, my favorite punching bag, Games Workshop, they got all up in arms and pissy and are trying to destroy 3D printing because it's ruining their bottom line. I don't think it's ruining their bottom line. I think it's the fact that every year they jack up their price 10%, and that's why. I was at Huzzah Hobbies looking at miniatures because I have a addiction problem, and I will admit that.
Oh yeah.
But I was just looking at the boxes of Warhammer minis, and a standard squad of, let's go with 10 Space Marines, the basic bitch bread and butter like miniature for this game. One box will set you back $67 for 10 models. And it's like it's even worse because there's one box that they had for Age of Sigmar, which is their fantasy line, 5 models, $75. And they are not big models, they are standard humanoid size. I think maybe one dude was a little beefier, so maybe like a barbarian, but it was 5 models for $75. I can't fucking stand that company anymore.
And not to mention the fact that the paint has gone through the roof for a single pot. It's like what, like $15?
No, $7 for a
I'm sorry. I'm thinking about effects.
Yeah. Oh no, hold on. So a single pot of paint. I think I might have given you some of my GW paints. Do you know the little tiny pots with the pop top?
I believe so. Yeah, actually, I still have them in my.
Yeah. So one of those pots is now $7.99. The special effect ones are, I want to say $8.99. Their washes have gone up to about somewhere between $8 and $10. The spray paints are now $24 a can. And like I'm seeing all this shit going on, and then I look over to my right, and there's Army Painter and Vallejo, and their prices are $4 a bottle or $14 for spray paint or their ink washes.
But you can paint right out of the pot.
Oh yeah, no, that's totally awesome, especially when you get the fucking drips around the rim and it won't close properly and dries up all your paint. They literally put planned obsolescence in fucking model paint. I hate Games Workshop so fucking much. Like, no, here's the problem, dude. Their original paint pots were actually
You will never
awesome.
find another color like Nurgle's Rot.
I have like 3 of them from 4 different companies.
I know. It's a joke.
I get it.
Like
No, the one thing that is actually hard to get is Goblin
ones
Green.
that hurt you.
That yellowy green from Goblin Green was just so fucking good. Apparently, the closest approximation to it is the green from Code to Arms, but it's just like it's also like a hue off.
Well, I mean, you can always use putrid slime from Army Painter.
Yes, that is very close to it too. But see, that's the thing. Like those two are just like they're just literally a hair away from being Goblin Green. It's I miss old Citadel paint. Oh yeah, back to what I was saying about the paint pots were the old ones. They were a hexagon shape. So when you opened it up, if it did kind of dribble a bit, it got stuck on the plastic, not in the rim where it locked. So it was easier to clean out. GW changed it back in like 2001-ish. I want to say it was around the time that 4th or 5th edition came out. And ever since then, it's been like a round top to the pot. And it just fucking dries and dries out. I could be wrong on the dates.
Unless you're extra vigilant.
Speaking about Game Workshop, continuing on, game night with my little one.
Nice. Good segue.
So my son, my youngest Sebastian, he, unbeknownst to me, he told my wife that he didn't want to go to the football game, and Dad didn't want to go to the local football game, and that he wanted to do a game night with me. Which I looked at my wife, I'm like, I didn't say that. I was like, I love watching football, especially high school football.
Hell yeah!
But I was like, okay,
football.
This is an opportunity to play game night with him. Of course, his game is Fortnite, so we actually played a couple of rounds. He even convinced me to try to chase him in this one new map they have in Fortnite, because you can create your own maps, you can create your own worlds or whatever, and there's like an airplane you can get on, and then you have like kind of a king of a hill, kind of who's going to stay on the airplane before it takes off. But yeah, it was fun. I haven't done that in a while with my kids, because again, they have their own games and stuff like that. So I'm trying to incorporate more people. But for him, he's like, yeah, Fortnite, Lego Fortnite, we do that part. Yeah, it was interesting on that part. As far as TV and anime, Preacher. I don't know if you guys have heard that show before.
I watched it. It's really, really fucking good.
I'm on season 2.
Nice.
I completed it. All I can say, the viewers who haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. I think they got 4 seasons on there.
And that's the entire series. It's only 4 seasons.
It's kind of disappointing. I was hoping a 5th season, but...
So, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I will say this. Some of the characters in the show are portrayed a lot better than they were in the comic, in my opinion.
Okay, so with that, I mean, for those who haven't seen it, basically a preacher who made a promise to his dad gets the voice of God. And all hell in heaven breaks loose with that. I'll take it with what you will. I love the characters being cast. I know they changed up Tulip.
I actually like what they did with Tulip.
Yeah, because she
she wasn't a one-dimensional character in the comic, but she didn't really like stand out to me. Whereas I find that her in the show actually has more character development.
Yes, she is crazy, beautiful. I say smart. I want to say that various character all wrapped up, because she can go from 0 to 200.
Like a Mary Sue character?
No, not like a Mary Sue character. She's not like a Mary Sue.
Hold on, let me see. Tulip.
But yeah, like the main character, the preacher, I find he was better in the comic. TV version of Tulip I find is better, and then Cassidy in the show I find is better.
Yeah, the ones who stand out. I'm gonna find her. I'll find her name later and post it in the chat. But far as the characters, I guess everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. I know Cassidy. I love Cassidy, the Irish vampire.
Great too.
Far as the way he talks, and then at the same time trying to see despite him having I guess you could say, is a gift and a curse of him being a vampire, and this is a different take on the vampires, because he can go in daylight. even though he'll get burned if he goes directly in the sun. Like that one
That's
one
always the way
scene
it
with
is
him
with like whenever they try to make like, new vampires, cooler vampires. They can actually go out in the sun.
Oh,
It's like,
don't bring fucking Twilight into this.
I'm just saying, like,
but
it's
it's not.
such a common twist
No,
that it
because
isn't a twist
he
anymore.
does burn in the sun. The thing is,
Yes.
it's not
Oh, yeah.
instantaneous.
So
No,
think
no,
of
no.
it-
Of course
so
not. Yeah.
No, they
Like
do
the,
it
think of
more
it as
the
like,
sparkling,
like if you were to spill acid,
alpha
Like Blade
radiation
it's more of
that
like a slow burn.
Edward Cullen puts off.
No, but it's like if you watch, I guess you could say that this type of vampire, because I think the crosses don't work. There's a scene where he fights some vampire hunters. The crosses don't work on him, whatever.
Mhm.
Um,
I'll be right back,
but
guys.
the main thing of him is that he does get injured. He gets injured a lot and messed up. But the only way he can heal is from blood. But yeah,
Kind
I
of
feel
like
like
Pee Wee
when
Herman.
so. How dare you, sir? He's a national treasure.
Well, no, he was a
Talking about
vampire in
Paul
Buffy the
Van-
Vampire Slayer, the movie. He got his arm lopped off.
Yeah. So with that character, yeah, he can grow back his things. I mean, as far as the daylight, he doesn't go out in every scene with him. But if he stays in the shadows and he's not in direct sunlight, mind you, there's a couple of times they mentioned sunblock. Which there was one scene where he
So
was
they're pulling a blade then.
So in a way like Blade, because there's one scene where his clothes got messed up. He keeps going in the churches lost and found. Even my wife says something about why does he have a rice hat on? So if you think of the rice hats that come like this, almost like I guess the Vietnamese or Chinese when they're in the rice fields or whatever, he has one of those on. I was like, well, he wears that plus the sunblock because he has to go outside to talk to this preacher. But if he goes in direct sunlight, he's going to get burned up. I mean, it doesn't help that he's in Texas. So that's another thing on that one. But I mean, as far as characters, Cassidy was one of my favorites. Tula because she's just crazy, but then again, her character is one of those like she's impulsive, and then when she tries to do a good thing, again, she saw a mother stealing diapers and put it in her cart. So I guess the guy chuckled at her for buying 100, something like 100 SPF. And I don't know what the degrees of SPFs are there. If it's a higher number, it means it's more thicker. For the record, Tulip's character
SPF is something that it's a rating for how much UV radiation that it blocks.
So she bought one for like 100 SPF, and I guess the guy chuckled because her character is in the show is black and white. So I guess he was chuckling on the fact of, okay, you're a black woman buying sunblock. And so she took that as a kind of offensive, even though he didn't explain it. You know, grabbed his tie, slammed him into the plexiglass, whatever, and then robbed the money and gave it to the lady. The lady, in a huff, leaves with her baby, even though she stole diapers, put it in the cart. But she was like, "Oh, you're too good," and it just shows again with Tulip. She's very impulsive when it comes to good. She's impulsive when she comes to certain things. She flies off the handle, even though in her mind, certain things she's trying to do the right thing, but it's her version of the right thing. So I do agree with you on the whole how her character is with that. Jesse Custer, I guess they're trying to think that he's
tiny
kind
aside.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, okay, so SPF stands for Sun Protection Factor, which is a measure of how well the sunscreen protects against ultraviolet B rays from the sun. And the higher the SPF number, the more protection the sunscreen offers. For example, if you burn in 15 minutes without sunscreen, an SPF 30 sunscreen would theoretically protect you for 450 minutes, ergo 15 minutes times 30 SPF.
Mm-hmm.
So that is it. Essentially, is the how long it takes you to burn without it, and then multiply that number. So if in the case, like let's say that you had SPF 5000 and you burned in, let's say 5 minutes with a very fair skin, right? Then that means that 5 times 5,000 that protect you for 2,500 minutes or 25,000 minutes in direct sunlight.
Okay.
There you go.
Fucking nerd.
There you go.
Glenn, that's what I'm talking about, man. We're all nerds about certain things.
Mine just happens to be chemistry.
The last thing I'll say about the show is the one thing that I didn't understand is with her Air Star, his character. When he's introduced, he does all this stuff, right? When he pushed the guy off the balcony, That made me laugh the most because I'm like, dude, how low is the rail and how strong is this dude to push this guy right off and he dies? The reason why I question that is because there's a scene in the graphic novel. I'm not gonna get too graphic, and there's a scene in the show where he requested a sexual activity, one that's kind of racy.
Some people typically say favor.
A favor or something. And so one of the characters does it for him, and instead of it being women, it's men. Now his whole introduction.
Dude, men sexual favors? Oh my goodness!
Oh no, dear Lord, I'm getting the vapors over here.
Because it reminds me. So since Glenn did that, it's a sexual rape fantasy. That's what it was. But he wanted women. When he told the guy, the part of the organization, do it,
I remember that.
He got it wrong, and he ordered male prostitutes to do this to him.
The best part about that panel is like the deadpan look in his eye. It's almost out of like a cartoon from the 50s. It's the funniest fucking shit while he's getting railed.
My whole thing is this one. You introduced this guy who's applying to the Grail Industries, that he's smarter, tougher, well adapted and flexible, and he doesn't even put up a fight. Like, no, this is not what I ordered. No, there's been a mistake. You write a mistake.
So
no,
you've read the comic, right?
I believe I read up to. I know what happens at the end, but I think I read up to I have up to volume 3 or.
Okay, that should
I'm
be.
gonna go with volume 3.
So in the comic, have they introduced the modern day Christ? I'm pretty sure they did that in like volume 2.
Yeah, Jesus' 25th grandson.
Yeah.
That is. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into
Dude,
that
just
one.
wait till they get to that point in the show. Who the actor is, you're gonna fucking die laughing.
Is it Pedro Pascal?
No, it's the lead singer of All American Rejects.
Oh my god, hey, it was nice. Cool. With that, I would say the last character that stands out is the Saint of what do you call it? Killer of Saints. Or Saints of Killers.
Oh yeah, the Saints of Killers is fucking awesome in the show.
And he came out, and all you heard was that cannon blast. It was a douche. I'm like, that can't be his guns. And then just ripping through everything. I'm like, oh, dude. And then when he shows up, it's like, man, it's like they took Roland from the Dark Tower series and the Undertaker. And you smash it in one character, and that was the Saint of Killers. Like, that dude was just, it didn't matter. Even though when he got his part of the soul, he just again, he would have been one hit, two up. Cassidy was no issue.
It's not that it wouldn't have worked for the show, I think, but like if they would have done it differently. Who was the guy in Westworld? It's Ed something. Ed Hunters. Ed. He's like that. He's like
I didn't watch Westworld.
I think his name is like Ed Hunters or something like that.
Is Saint of Killers like any way related to like the narco saints that they have like down in Mexico? With like Santa Muerte, who like they follow with human sacrifice with some of the drug cartels.
No, it's based off of
Malverde Jesus.
Catholicism. So it's.
I mean, it's folk Catholicism.
It had to be. It could be related to Catholicism, but again, he was a bad guy. Like, for all his intentions of him losing his wife and kids, he wipes out a whole town. Don't get me wrong, that town was like Sodom and Gomorrah, all crazy types going in that one. And then he went to hell. He didn't even go to heaven. So if it was capitalism, that means the saints would have went to heaven. Because that was the whole point of him making the deal with the angels, was like he was going to be reunited with his wife and his kids.
That's right. Okay.
And it was a constant battle of that's all he wanted, and nothing was going to get. My whole point with him is like nothing got in his way. That's how the level of seriousness it got with it. Like, oh yeah, we're just gonna go on this journey, and from day one, every time you use the word, he showed up, and when he showed up, it didn't matter. He just say preacher. I don't know no preacher. Pow! I'm like, dude, this dude has no. It's like the Terminator. It's like that's all it is.
I believe
whatever they're
going.
Say
he has no chill.
Yeah, he has no chill.
What'd you think of Arse Face?
So I knew that character was going to come up. I heard that they changed it to where they gave him more scenes versus what was in the graphic novel because I think the stand-up killers killed him. My thing, what I was surprised was when my wife goes, "Oh yeah, that's the show with the arse face." I'm like, "How did you know that?" Unbeknownst to me, when we went to I think it's Painted Vision, the local comic book store here where we live at, they have Pops.
Oh, by the way, Painted Vision fucking rocks. Anybody in the Virginia area, hit it up. They're good people. So
we went in there, and usually that's if I can't find what I need, I'll go in there, pop my head, and see how much their pops are because they do got some really good ones that I think I need to rob a bank to get those. But there's a arse face pop there. I didn't know my son, my youngest, I saw it. So he mentioned it to my wife, and then he was like, "Yeah, you know, this you got the character." I wasn't watching the show. He's going arse face. I was like, "How do you know that?" Like I tried to play the dad. Like, "How do you know that?" You're watching on your show. Like, here's the pop. So that was kind of funny.
It's the guy with the butthole for a mouth.
Yeah. Then when he goes to hell, they really. I feel bad for him.
Out of context, this is gonna sound so fucked up, but I don't know how they managed to make Hitler a likable character.
Dude, when he popped up, I'm like, because again, in the graphic novel, I don't remember him.
What's not to like about him? He can paint a room in 2 days, or paint 2 coats in 1 afternoon.
Oh God,
that's a reference to the producers.
Yeah, I know.
So I mean, they created a whole thing where it's like the way he was just nice. He just had basically he was at a bad day. Treat him, and then as soon as he got to the top, Eugene and his lovable naive is, "Yeah, we just go to the town and everything." Next, you know, Hitler. He hit by a car. Wow.
Yep.
I was like that seems fitting. Hitler gets hit by a car. He's dead. Nope. This dude came up, was limping. Dude with crutches goes, "Hey man, you need help? I can help you." Which I don't understand what help did he need. Hitler goes, "Get out of my way." Pushes him and then looks at an alleyway and then I'm like, then he pans back to Eugene, Arseface, and then goes, like, "Dude, you're too naive and nice. Yeah, you didn't deserve to go to hell, but you're too naive and nice to let Hitler out." So I want to see how they're going to spin that later on, and hopefully don't leave it.
It's a great side adventure to the story.
Oh my God.
What is he going to do? Like, get a massive following and try to invade Poland again? Like, I mean, honestly, at that point, like,
you should watch the show. I'm just going to leave it. You should watch the show.
I mean, if you apply reality to it, they gave the character Hitler. I mean, I can't believe we're talking about this.
I know, right?
If they're giving Hitler credit, which means he's smart. He just has to come up to date, read news.
Yeah, he's just crafty.
Guaranteed that he can catch up to the times.
Smart. He was just charismatic, and people were poor at the time.
If he shaves the mustache, shave his hair, do something, the most that he's gonna get is, "Wow, you look like," and somebody probably go in close, like, "You look, Hitler." Like, oh, I get that all the time. It's not me. I don't know what that is. And then all he has to do is find a way to connect to the You got white supremacist group in Idaho. There are German Nazis. Ukraine had Nazis.
I have a fun story about that.
We used to live near that fucker. Easy for him to find this out.
We used to live by that fucker. The Grand Wizard of the KKK. What the fuck was his name? Something Butler. So where we lived was we lived closer to the lake in Hayden Lake, and then he was, I want to say, maybe a mile and a half down the road from us. It was.
For a second there, I thought you were going to talk about the guy with the sign on the side of the road over in Lorton, Virginia.
Wait.
There's that guy.
Is he still around?
I don't know who you guys are talking about.
He's the one who he always sits in the same lawn chair, and he's always got the sign in his hand. He's just sitting there, he'll sit there for days. He used to be down in Woodbridge. I know the guy.
That guy's still in Woodbridge. He's the one who says that he was behind 9/11.
Yes,
he knows the secrets about the 9/11 and everything. Yeah, he's still there. He hangs out the Wendy's over there by Target.
Dude, yeah, okay. So you remember Eli, right?
Yeah.
Eli and I got drunk one night, and we just went on a tangent about.
Absolutely love Eli, by the way.
Oh, dude,
Eli is a spectacular human being, and he really needs to come on. I need to see him. I miss him. Eli, if you hear this, I miss you. Come back.
Hey, when you do that,
I need to run my fingers through your long, beautiful hair again.
Well, sounds like when Glenn goes, "I miss you."
Yeah.
And Eli was dope. I still remember when we went to Comic-Con.
So him and I
we were doing D&D.
Oh yeah, so him and I got fucked up on Yingling, and we started talking about this guy, and then that conversation went into like a 2-hour investigation where we found as much info on this guy as we could. His last name's Gaylord, and he's been doing this since 2003 or 4. He sits in the same spot every day and just has a sign, doesn't say anything, doesn't talk to anybody, just sits there with a sign and just tries to inform the masses. Dude's like,
he had some like super crazy theory about like aliens like abducting him or some shit like that.
Yeah, he had two signs. One of them was the 9/11 one, and the other one was the alien one. And he would swap them out like maybe like once every couple days, because he would be right in front of the Best Buy, like if you're going towards the mall. And then the other spot he'd swap to was over by it's off Route 1. I can't remember exactly where, but there was like 2 spots.
Do you think he knows the Bunny Man?
The Clifton Bunny Man. Dude, I remember when I first heard about that. That was one of the coolest urban legends.
We really need to do like an urban legends video.
I completed Sandman. I rewatched it this time, taking my time with it. Anybody who's listening, again, if you like Neil Gaiman, if you like his storytelling, I think it was really good. Essentially, I put it as like when the cat's away, the mice will play. So that's basically what Dream is doing. He's been captured, and now he has to go find nightmares, and he's trying to find nightmares and dreams that have left. At the same time, he has so much angst against humanity. He's going through all this stuff to see what can change, whatever. Which is why when we mentioned death, that was a whole cool thing that she was doing. Like, look, it could be, this job can be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. It depends on how you look at it. With that, and I mean, again, it's a cool concept. Nightmares and dreams are your inspiration. Warning: I didn't know they did episode 11. Well, I found out online it's called episode 11, but the Dream of 1,000 Cats. I thought that was a cool inception.
Yeah. Oh man. In the comic, that was a beautiful scene, and like where all the cats were like huge and the humans were like this big.
It reminded me of Attack on Titan, where they're like, we used to be our playthings, and then out of nowhere, it just bit the human, and then just went. I'm like, oh crap, that's messed up. Like the human was all happy, like yeah. I was like, oh crap. What about the other one, the Calliope? Did you see that one where?
Calliope?
Say it again. It's a Greek muse.
Calliope.
Let's go with that. That sounds very sexy when you say it. So I'm gonna go with that. Because I murder names. I'm not gonna lie. I'd just be like, Canada.
You name murderer.
So that one was interesting. I think it was interesting because Dream was very, even though they shared the child died. They fused Greek mythology with, or at least they included it with Dream. But the only thing that kind of caught me odd was like in the Sandman show, when he goes to hell, he had a lover. I forgot her name, but it was like 10,000 years ago. He had a lover. Something happened, and he left her in hell. And she's like, "You can release me, right?" And he's like, "No, I don't think."
You're talking about Persephone?
Maybe I can't remember the name. I just know they go back.
Persephone, she's the wife of Hades in Greek mythology.
No, because this character seemed like, well, the woman was black, and then when she looked at him, he changed from Dream to a black guy. So I don't know if it was. I don't think it was Persephone was the character that he put in hell. I just know that she's locked up. He hasn't forgiven her. And he just keeps on going to find his helmet, or I guess they call it the helm.
Yeah, but his
this
helmet.
One, he was all like, "Hey, I'm gonna come rescue you. I'll kill this guy." She's like, "No, don't kill him. Just get him to release me." On that part. So, only slight is it looked like he always want to cry when he gets angry or sad. He always wants to cry. That's the only thing I got with that one.
But, I see.
Okay. I know he. Moving on, YouTube wrestling. I'll put in the link if you guys want me to. 6 Feet Under with Mark Calloway who was the Undertaker. This time he had Kane, whose name is Glenn Jacob.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's 2 hour
Minnesota
thing. One
governor, right?
No, he's the mayor of Knox County in Tennessee.
Mayor of Knox County.
Which they did ask him about that. He just said politics are similar in wrestling as they're in the real world, where he's, a playing character, knowing that it's fake. Where he feels like politicians, they're trying to say, hey, how they look, how they act is really them, and it's not. Just a couple of takeaways. 1991, he started his training. He was full time in 1994. He wrestled in Puerto Rico, which I didn't know. For some reason, I didn't think wrestling went to Puerto Rico. I know there was like United States in a couple of areas, but he was under USWA.
Dude, what are you talking about? South America has some of those banging wrestling in the business. They always have.
but not when I think of like, okay, if you say Mexico, I think of Lucha Libres, right?
Yeah.
That is not associated with wrestling in the United States. They have their own wrestling league. So when you say this guy went to Puerto Rico,
it back in the 80s. They WWF brought in a bunch of luchas. Same with WCW.
Yeah, but they brought them to wrestling.
Okay, I get what you mean.
It's not like how it is now. I guess whether I feel it's like it's not like how it seemed back in the days where if you wrestled, you were in different regions, right? You had your whole like Michigan, that region, or whatever. So you'll go between the United States or whatever. But as far as going, hey, like VCW, I don't see VCW going to Mexico to wrestle. I get you. Like it's a separate identity on that part. But his previous characters, which I didn't know he had this many characters. He had one called Angus King from AC/DC. He mentions it on that one. I saw the video. His character was called Christmas Creature.
I remember the Christmas Creature.
The junk that got me was which was cool though. His mom made his outfit with active lights that worked. They're battery operated. Thought that was cool. He's Bruiser Mencino.
If somebody slams him the right way, somebody could say that he put his lights out.
Oh, that'd have been a good one if he did. Because I think he went against Jerry Lawler in that one.
I was going to say my father was really, really into wrestling back in the day. In fact, he had actually tried out for the WWF with the stage name of Courteous Curtis, and he was going to be a nice guy wrestler with like his power move. I forget, it was something like some sort of like handshake wallop where basically he'd shake their hand and then like punch them in the face or gut or something. Mm-hmm. It was a whole thing.
Dude, I'm gonna assume your dad was a fucking cool guy.
He was a really cool guy.
If he had gotten hired as Courteous Curtis, he would have been the jobbiest fucking jobber that had ever jobbed in the WWF.
More than Brock's Brooklyn Brawler?
More than the Brooklyn Brawler. Like that name alone, like you'd have a solid 2 to 3 years where you were like played as like mid card, and then you'd just be jobber for the rest of your career.
Well, it depends on how it is, because again, if he's Glenn's height or taller, I would imagine.
My father was 6'1".
You go to where he's like a gentle giant, he's very courteous, and then something happens and they flip him, and now he's the heel.
I get that, but
think of that Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle came in as the cool American wrestler. I'm an Olympian, and then something happened. You guys don't respect me, and then he turned heel.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, what I'm saying is because of that gimmick, that would have dropped into the bottom card. He would have jobbed out to all the stars, and it would have happened sometime around 92 or 93.
Okay.
Whenever I was in second grade. Right?
Exactly.
Glenn, I believe you dad's stream, okay?
And then I would have been the son of Courteous Curtis, being a 6'5", 350-pound monster.
And then you would have been going against Cody Rhodes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. It's some alternate reality.
There's an alternate reality out there where Glenn is Courteous Curtis II.
Like something, I'm not wishing nothing bad, but something happens and he's taking on the reins, so it's on his shoulders. But there's also some other, there's drama inside the ring and outside the ring. Ooh, there's a story there. But moving on.
I was going to say, like, basically, if I shave off of my beard, the bad thing is, like, I have to keep my beard. Otherwise, I look exactly like my father. A more fit version of my father, but exactly like my father. It's, if you can imagine me, but like with flaming red hair and freckles, like.
Your dad was ginger?
My father was a ginger.
Wow, that I would never would have guessed.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, my father's a ginger. My mom's, Mexican and Arab. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's what makes this beautiful specimen of a man.
What drugs are you on, and may I have some, please?
It is actually a French wine from the Alsace-Lorraine region that was served with a beautiful lentil dal and a yogurt
Bobby,
chicken.
We got a fucking nerd in here.
That my wife lovingly made for me while I was waiting for you guys to start, because apparently Thursday night while we're recording just so happens to be Mediterranean or
house.
curry. Wine nights every night in my house. What are you talking about? Not me. But
so speaking of on that note, speaking of that,
I'm joking. No.
He also went by Doomsday.
I vaguely remember Doomsday.
But it was his version of Doomsday from Superman.
Yeah,
he's like,
kind of remember Superman. That one.
He's like, I was doing Doomsday. He was Unabomb. He was Spartacus.
Mm-hmm.
The one I remember the most was Isaac
Spartacus.
Yankum.
Wait, say that name again.
Isaac Yankum.
Was he really
Yankum? Don't even know him.
Huh?
He looked kind of greasy, right?
He had weirdly, like a knockoff version of Sid Vicious, because he had blonde hair that was kind of curly that went down. But basically his gimmick was he was a dentist. He was like he put it. I think he said like a 6'8", 300-pound dentist that's coming to yank out teeth.
Yes.
And so Undertaker was like, yeah, kids don't like dentists, and he's just like, dude, no. He was fake Diesel.
Yep.
I don't know if you remember that one.
I remember that one.
And then,
especially because McMahon came out and it's like, yeah, it's not the same, but I own the name, so I own them.
So then the last one is, I don't know if he was called it because he didn't mention it, but Undertaker mentioned it. He also was called Corporate Kane. That's when he lost the mask.
Oh,
and there's a part where he come out in a suit.
That's just a shitty gimmick to do to Kane too. Honestly, like Kane was best when he had the mask on. The moment he took the mask off, it kind of lost the luster for me.
See, and this is why you got to watch the interview, because the interview, the bullets I put was basically was behind the scenes wrestling interaction, like when he punched Big Show in the actual wrestling ring. Because one thing I know about wrestling, and I like these interviews, especially the ones from Chris Van. They give you behind the scenes. Like Eddie Guerrero, when he used to wrestle, all the wrestlers that wrestled him told him, yeah, we used to conversate with Eddie during the match. Like, I don't know how the cameras didn't pick it up.
Oh, no, dude, Eddie was the king of the ring.
We would try to work it out with Eddie, be like, hey, not
spots. Like, because you'd never tell. You could never tell.
Like the one he did, if you watch the one with Rey Mysterio was like his match with Eddie Guerrero, like the whole match was on the fly, freestyle, call it. Eddie be like, hey, do this. All right, now you this. You want to try this? Yeah, and that's what they did on that part. He was the reason why they changed the steel cage, because Xbox hit his head twice. Kane did say, hey, he didn't think the first time it hit him was good enough, so he said do it a second time. And on that note, that sent him to the hospital.
Oh shit!
And then that's when they started changing the steel cage to make it more softer. For the wrestlers, because a lot of them, man, when you hear the stories too, they get beat up a lot and
dude,
bad.
Fucking look no further than when
never go full retard,
when Undertaker dropped. Wow, like when Undertaker dropped McFoley through Hell in the Cell. Like, dude, I remember seeing the interview between them, and Undertaker's like, yeah, I just looked down, and was like, fuck, I killed Mick.
Yeah, and he's like, get up, Mick.
Yeah,
get up, Mick. Oh God, get up, man!
He got up for the second time. I remember him saying, like, he's like, I didn't want to do this, I didn't, but you fucking pushed me, and we did it.
Like it's and even then when I interview, you hear him where they're like, yeah, he was supposed to go through the cage, but he was supposed to be like
off the fucking side, and then he waddled his fat ass up to do the spot, and I'm still shocked to this day that he didn't fucking die in the ring that night.
No, because even when he went through the steel cage, according to both of them, he was supposed to go through the cage. But what it was supposed to be, it was like, I guess, like a two or three step break. Like it was supposed to break a little bit, to where he kind of hold on to the cage and then he'll fall by himself. But
no, he just went right through that fucker.
Because I think he said there was zip ties along with metal thing, and
so
I'm like,
that was the worst part. They
that was a
said
good idea.
because he said like the first time they did it, he was like they had it. It was like done. It was done a lot more professionally. Like they had it actually like bolted in. But I guess for to get it out quicker, what they did was they just used zip ties to lock the chain to the metal pipes. So when he hit, all his weight on that, the force of it snapped the ties, and he just fucking dropped like a lead weight.
Yeah. But again, Mick Foley to his credit, he asked for all of that. Like he's like, yeah, he's like, no, we're gonna put on.
They were carting his ass off after he hit the table, and he was still like, nah, I still got fighting me.
The tax,
and mind you, it makes sense because I'm like, dude, whenever the adrenaline's pumping, like even to the case of, oh, he hit me twice because I didn't feel it the first time. Fuck yeah, you didn't feel it the first time. It's because it's fucking shock, bro.
Oh yeah, no, that was the thing. When he hit the ground, they had the hard camera had him, and he had what looked like a fucking booger under his nose, and he's like, yeah, I didn't feel a thing. And so everybody said I was smiling. I was like, no, I was checking to make sure I had all my teeth. And then I just couldn't stop. But
that booger was his tooth.
Yeah, Mark was talking to him.
The booger was his tooth?
I didn't want to tell you, but you had a booger there. And he's like, oh shit, that's my tooth.
Damn. That kind of reminds me of this one time on the trampoline when I was a kid.
I'll post both videos again, the actual match. Undertaker talks about it on his podcast because he brings it up, and then they actually Undertaker and
him did like they did
sit
a
down
and watch
and they talk about the match. And he tells the other dude, I don't know why'd you want me to do this? I felt so like Undertaker was like, man, dude, I felt so bad after the match. Like, what did I do? Like, he destroyed this guy. And Mick is like, it was weird, like the way he made Mick Foley sound. And he could have been, he's like, did we get the shot? Did we get the shot, Mr. Jones or whatever? Like he's like this, and everybody's feeling
his thumbs are all fucked up.
And Undertaker and everybody else say, yeah, we got the shot. Okay. Like it was just
and
way
that is why I
like,
fucking
that's
love
all Foley cared about seeing was that the performance.
Yep.
Did we give the fans the performance?
And that is the main reason why I love wrestling out of all other mediums of trash like content, because the fact that these guys put their bodies through hell and back just to see fans clap and cheer. It warms the icy black cockles of my heart.
Cockles is today's new word.
You know, it was kind of funny whenever you're talking about his tooth going through his lip. It kind of reminds me of a story when I was a young man. If you don't mind if I tell it, it's kind of funny.
Oh no, that's fine. We're in the weeds already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even talked about my week yet. So whenever I was, I'm going to say 14, I was instructed by my mother to go clean the bathroom. And I didn't want to do the bathroom. So I snuck out the bathroom window to go bounce on the trampoline in the backyard. How I got out of that window is a real surprise to me, being 4 foot tall and 160 pounds. I was quite literally rounder than I was tall. I was a fucking chunker, bro.
Dude, you probably used the excess butter cartridge that you had in your shirt pocket to kind of lube up the window first.
I don't know. It was probably just like straight up grease that I just had on my body. It was, just like, expressing, this grease. But
expressing grease. Oh God.
Grease lightning.
So yeah, the fat kid sneaks outside the window, goes jumping on the trampoline. And so I go for a belly flop, because it's fun. You're bouncing like this, you bounce right, and you bounce back up, right? Well, the thing is, I went down for the belly flop. Some way, somehow, I'm not exactly sure how it happened, but a strong gust of wind blew me in the middle of the air and turned me sideways. This fat spherical child that I was somehow caught the wind some way, somehow, and went whoop, turned sideways.
Dude, no, that is not an unnatural effect, though.
I don't know. Maybe it was like the Coriolis effect that, the earth turned underneath me.
I have a story where something similar happens.
So my face hits the fucking springs, of course, because, we were a family of 5 children. We didn't have an expensive trampoline. We had a trampoline that I got from my uncle Doug, right? That had, was missing a few springs, still did the job. There was no spring cover on it, right? And these rusty ass springs that would have been exposed to the elements, one of them got caught in my lip. Ooh. And after I hit, it was like, boom, and it was like, ning. It's like, oh, it was stuck. and like I tried to pick my head up and I couldn't get up because it was attached, right? And so I unhooked myself from the trampoline, came in the back door, and no diddy. And then and my mom was like, "What are you doing in the backyard?" And I'm sitting there, and then I went into the bathroom again, right? I went to go wash my mouth out, thinking that I had gotten a scratch or something, right? And the blood came out of my lip, like out of the hole in the lip. I'm like, "Oh shit, no!" And Mom came in, she saw the water streaming from my lip, covered in blood, and she was like, "You should have cleaned the bathroom instead of going bouncing on the trampoline."
Yep, that sounds like my mom. And then add the wait till your dad gets home. Like, oh crap! No, don't tell that. Don't tell that. No. And
so she calls my father. My father's like, "I'm coming home," and then she takes me over to the Kelsey Seabold Clinic, where the lady's like, "I can do a worm stitch on it, but you're gonna have a hair lip," and I'm like, "No." And so we went to a plastic surgeon that did emergency work and did actual real stitching on my lip, so I don't have a lip, And I have the scar to this day. It's absolutely wonderful, and it matches the other one that I have on my lip from a dorm room karate move incident that I'll tell at a later date. That one they only had to derma bond it, luckily enough. So yeah, that's that story.
So on that note, Vader got
arrested. Continue on with my week.
Wait, Vader got arrested?
Oh, y'all didn't know that back in the days? Vader. So Vader, and forgive me, Glenn. Hold on, I don't know what Glenn was saying.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
Okay. So Vader. So one of the stories that he gave was Vader was in Kuwait with Undertaker doing a promo thing, right? The guy asked, basically, as far as wrestling, like, is it really real? Do you guys really get hurt? Undertaker said, "Man, I knew what was gonna happen, but there's nothing I could do." Vader grabbed the guy and was like, "Does this feel real? Does this feel real?" He said, as soon as he did that, I forget who was with him, whatever, had grabbed him and said, "Hey, look, you got to get out of here." And so they're carting off Undertaker, and Vader's like, "Yeah, we can't let him bully us like this, make fun of us." Vader was sent to jail for, I think, 3 to 4 days in Kuwait while everybody else was in the United States.
God.
So, I mean, when you hear about the Saudi Arabia
Kuwait.
people getting detained or whatever, like, yeah, Vader, like, I don't know how nobody told them that was bad. Like,
what year was this?
Oh, man, this had to be in the early 90s because Undertaker had the belt. That's not what I remember.
Was this before or after the Gulf War?
Might be before. Ooh, that's a good question. I have to do my research.
It was before the Gulf War. That's pound me in the ass prison, but but maybe not him. Maybe he's the one doing the pounding, seeing as he's a wrestler. But still, that's pre-Gulf War. That's pretty fucking bad. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Did I shock you into silence?
Finish his week.
Go ahead. Sorry.
All right, I'm gonna finish my week. Okay, so Kane was to Undertaker as Doomsday was to Superman. Basically, it was Undertaker's working with him to create the opposite. What better way to beat a guy like Undertaker than create somebody that's going to be your counterpart? That's why they had the same. That's why they had some of the same moves, but different aspects. So while Undertaker had the like the concussions, Kane came out with the pyro coming out. So that was interesting. I forgot they were the Brothers of Destruction that nobody can beat because they were saying how come they couldn't just beat tag teams and win the belts for a long while. He's like, Undertaker was like, 2 big guys that nobody can beat. It wouldn't last that long. You would have to create something. And ready to talk about politics. Moving on, games. Destiny 2 is the main game I'm playing right now. I'm trying to talk to my financial advisor to get Space Marines 2. I'm hearing and seeing lovely things about the game. But hopefully, maybe this weekend, I can. My financial advisor is listening. Maybe she'll get that one. Destiny 2, as far as that ended the episodes with the exotic mission, was great on that one. I was able to hook up with my friend, Diddy. Since Glenn mentioned it, to do the missions. A lot of them, need some help. They did explain upcoming expansions and seasons. So if you guys want to jump on Destiny 2, there's a new expansions coming out with seasons, and seasons are supposed to be free, so you don't have to pay for seasons.
Okay, that's not bad.
So we'll see how that culminates. I can post that in chat. Next level news. James Earl Jones, you guys already mentioned it.
Yeah.
93 years old. He had passed away. Didn't say from what. I'm assuming just like with Peter Renaday, who was the voice actor for Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where it's probably just natural causes because they didn't say he was sick or anything. If you didn't know, he was an EGOT, so that's an Emmy, Grammy, Tony, and an Oscar that he won. Bunch of movies, 60-year career, 200 screen credits. I know him from Lion King. I didn't know he was in Star Wars, except for I think there was one where he decided for George Lucas, whatever, to just use his voice for AI or whatever to create some stuff.
Wasn't there a contract already put in play?
Jones was Darth Vader?
No. I know he voiced Darth Vader, but there's one. I don't know if it's the Obi-Wan or it was Obi-Wan or Ahsoka, maybe off, where he didn't come in and do the voice do the voice thing.
Okay.
He said, go ahead and use, whatever cut footage you guys have. I don't think it's necessarily all AI, but come with something to use my voice on that part. I don't know if it was just busy schedule.
James Earl Jones is prolific, but one of my favorite roles I've ever seen him in was when he was the African dictator in House. That was like one of the best acting roles, like one of the best roles.
House.
Yeah.
What about him in Philadelphia, man?
Oh, he was good in Philadelphia too, but he was really, really fucking good in House. Like he's in one episode and he fucking killed it.
Yeah, I forgot about the TV. Yeah, because he's done everything.
Been on
Dude, Big Bang Theory playing
crazy.
Himself.
Get this. So when he did Star Wars in 1973, he only got paid $700 to do the movie. It was 2 hours of work. He went in the booth, did his lines, and was done. He was like, "Hey, that's cool. If it works out, it works out." He didn't even want to be credited in the movie.
Yeah.
My buddy and I did
$700.
$700. So my buddy and I did on that in 1973. $37,000 for 2 hours of work. And
whoa!
Then, I just find it crazy. It's like the dude just went in, he did his lines, and like he did what he needed to do and left. It's just it's fucking awesome.
He's done a lot of main characters for his movies, but it seemed like his bread and butter was theater. Well, as far as work was theater and TV show, as far as TV shows and stuff like that. I mean, again, he was the bad guy in Conan the Barbarian.
Yup. Was it Tulsa?
I guess it was Thulsa.
Yeah, I think it's Tulsa.
The H is silent?
I believe so.
Okay.
It's been a hot minute since I watched Conan to pronounce it in there, but I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Tulsa.
Yeah. I think the one movie I haven't seen yet, but I want to see it, but it kind of hits close to home, is the movie he did it in theaters, and Denzel Washington did a movie called Fences.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it focuses on basically focuses on three characters, but really it's about the father, who James Earl Jones plays, and then his son.
Okay.
And there's a scene where it's like his son goes, "Why don't you love me?" And I'm not saying my dad never said that, but it was like it was just eerie to hear the whole like you live in my house, you eat my food, I take care of you, I do this. It's like damn, is that Benito Perez? I swear to God, I got that when I was younger.
Papa, is that you?
You live under my roof, you do this and everything. And I swear, this is a what do you call it? I forgot the Mandela effect. I swear, I wanted to ask the actor, because the actor that plays his son in the theater, he's been in a bunch of other shows. But I swear he hits the guy in the chest, but I guess the way the mic is, it sounds like a like a real good thump, and I'm like, man, what did you tell James Earl Jones when you got off the stage? Like, dude, that was hard. You hit me hard.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's when I do these things for Next Level, I just want to be clear to anybody. I'm not trying to make anybody sad. It's just highlighting individuals that's been involved either actively or inactively in our lives when it comes to our shows, our cartoons, video games, all nerd stuff. So it's great to see.
Shit, he was on Sesame Street, brother.
Yep.
Yeah, like it's wonderful to see. It's sad that they're gone, but at the same time, I look at it as being sad. It's the chance to praise their successes, their accomplishments, even the ones where they said like, I did this movie and this movie was crap. Don't go see it, whatever. It's like, hey, at least they know what's good and what's not. And
yeah, sometimes I have a hard time even like distinguishing between like James Earl Jones and David Bowie in terms of like which one did things better. But it's honestly easy to say both did great things.
Yep, I would say they did great things in their own lanes. It was just they found their niche. Is that the right word? Niche. Yeah, niche. They found their niche, and it's like, or the niche.
Niche.
Keep going, man.
But they found their way, and that's what it is. And again,
it's a niche, bitch. No, it's a niche.
And he's moving on that because I'm trying to get through the week. Peter Renday, 89 years old, original voice actor for Master Splinter. Same thing, 60-year span with voice acting and other shows. The Apple Dumpling Gang, he was also in that one. I know that's an old Disney movie. I actually thought it was pretty cool when I was a kid.
It's part of their live action, shows that they don't show anymore because of racism.
That was racist? Apple Dumpling Gang was racist?
I'm sure they made jokes.
Okay. More than Blazing Saddles?
Blazing Saddles did it with purpose at the very least.
I'll move on. But he was
it's no Song of the South, but
he voice acted for Assassin's Creed, Revenant, and Shadow of Rome.
Shadow of Rome is fucking awesome, by the way. If y'all haven't played that, it's a PS2 classic.
So moving on from that one, the last thing I have, I was trying to get to it as quick as possible, but I'll get you guys' opinion on it after you guys' week. But PS5 Pro came out.
Oh, do I got shit to talk about with that?
Real quick, before we get to it, I give you guys.
Is Concord going to be like an
exclusive,
a release exclusive with it?
I mean, that would make better sense because again, it's $700. The vertical stand is not included.
Dude, are we just getting into it?
If you want to, we can. I mean, I'll give it to you guys real quick and we can get back to it.
It makes me wonder whether or not they already printed like Concord themed PS5 cases.
No. Fuck Concord.
And those are
no. Concord doesn't exist in this problem. The problem here is you're buying a system that has barely any upgrades to it aside from it now runs 4K better and it has a terabyte in it. You're paying the price of an entry-level gaming PC, and that's just base. Because if you want the full thing, if you
what
want
is
to get
the price
CD
on it?
Drive, hold on. If you want to get the CD drive,
I got all that. Once Nico gets off his tangent, I got it.
Right, you're paying like close to $1,000. At that much money, you could just go buy a good gaming PC. So I don't know what the fuck Sony's thinking, because if they're losing money on this, they're shooting themselves in the foot because it's not gonna sell that well.
So according to Sony, I guess whenever they did, we'll make a joke. It's the people's preference, because what they said they noticed when they poll was basically performance versus fidelity. So performance is prioritize efficiency over graphics, aiming for higher frame rates, usually 60 FPS. Fidelity mode strives to make games more visually appealing by prioritizing resolution, graphical effects, but may run at a lower frame rate, usually 30 FPS.
Yep.
So that is one of the reasons why they came with the new system. But what they're saying with that is that it has.
So what you're saying is they turned on overclocking essentially on their systems.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then didn't put in the proper cooling to compensate for it.
Yup.
So right now they said it's a 67% compute units. It's 28% faster RAM, 45% faster rendering, larger GPU, advanced ray tracing, AI-driven upscaling, and I don't know if this is a feature or this is what they're calling it, PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution PSSR. So all that you're gonna get is $700. No vertical stand, but it's priced at $30 extra.
Yep.
That is the digital version. It's not the disc version. If you want the disc version, it's going to be $80 extra. So you might as well say, what is that, $810.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to do a comparison, the PS5 Slim Digital and disc version was $500 or less if you got it from the store. But the thing about the showcase was there was no new games that were showing off their features. These were like Last of Us, Ratchet and Clank. So I agree with Young Ye. Astacross, all them were like, why not show the new games?
Yeah.
Just show your system.
Show us
off.
the system running Show us the system running Bloodborne at 60 frames a second.
The last thing I mentioned is not.
Are these old games just the ones that they optimized for this new system?
Yeah. So this is where it gets kind of fun. Okay, yeah, they're shooting for this fidelity and performance mode, right? At the end of the day, it comes down to the developers of the games. If they're not optimizing their games, this isn't gonna fucking work.
And since you mentioned that was a point that Young Ye mentioned, was like the only new game that you mentioned is Aimbot, but you claim that there's no other IPs you have. But then you give I think he showed a video where you see Aimbot running and there's a bunch of Aimbots behind him. And it's like, I'm saying it wrong. I don't think it's Aimbot. Whatever that new little icon looking thing, whatever.
Astrobot.
It's running, and then there's a bunch of them behind him. When Young Ye's saying like, but you have other IPs that you already mentioned that are going to come out with this game. Why not mention one of them and show it on that one? Now, one thing that I also noted too was controllers, because I was mentioning it went in price.
Come a little closer to the mic, Rico. We can't. You're starting to sound a little tinny.
Okay. So the last thing I'll give you, and I'll hand it off to you guys to talk about, is the DualSense controller. That's this controller right here is $75. That's straight from the Sony's page. And $75.
And here's the fun part about that controller. Those triggers, the adaptive triggers, are pieces of shit. They break so fucking easily. And there are apologists out there who will say, "Oh no, it's perfectly fine." But no, those things are the worst controller Sony has put out. And that's coming from somebody who I despise the PS3 controller.
But since you said that, Nico, what's great is they have the DualSense Edge controller.
Yeah, for
a mere price of $200. And you can customize it the way you want.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. The biggest problem with it is, like, I like conceptually, I really like the PlayStation 5 controller. It feels really good. The D-pad is phenomenal for a Sony D-pad. And like everything just feels really nice. The problem is the internal mechanics just don't pass QC because the triggers on those are fucking garbage. And like honestly, the last time Sony did a decent D-pad was the PlayStation 4. So if you like D-pad based games, the PS5 controller is great on the PC, where you never have to worry about the adaptive triggers breaking. But nobody makes 2D games anymore, so there's no point.
No, because even on the PlayStation Store, there's a couple of 2D games, but they're not in demand, or it's 2D.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love Dead Cells. I think Dead Cells is great, but not everybody. Your average consumer is not going to run out and buy Dead Cells if they're on a like one game a month type budget.
Yeah, they're probably going to pick it up on Steam and get it in Humble Bundle, like the rest of us.
Okay, yeah, but now you're getting into the whole like, and everybody should just buy a PC because it's easier type deal. Not everybody plays games on a PC, dude. It's not easier. Listen, we had this conversation before we even started the podcast. There are people out there who don't even know how to use a fucking computer in 2024.
Yeah, but they can buy one.
My brother and crackers. Are you insane?
So can I answer that one real quick, and I'm gonna hand it off to Glenn after this?
Go ahead.
I feel like it's both of you guys are right in the one thing of some people don't know how to run a computer. I think age comes with that, depending on what era they came through and what was accessible to them. But to Glenn's point, as far as just buying it, I think that's another problem too. Because myself, at one time, I had, if we're talking about gaming consoles, I had PlayStation, both sometimes Pro, the regular one, Xbox. And then I think at one point I still kept my Nintendo 64 at one point, whatever. The issue that you have is at least for why people may not buy a computer, is what are you going to do with a computer? Like, I don't know how many times, Nico, you've brought up, hey man, get a computer. And I'm like, if it's not for stuff with work or to create stuff, why would I play games on the computer when I can play games right here? And you'll go, or matter of fact, there's a guy named Brown that used to name Brown who used to work with Chief
Saul.
Logistics.
Yep.
So where he's quick like, well, you can play Minecraft in this game on computer. I was like, if I play some of those games, the people that I play with, unless it's cross-platform, won't get a computer or buy a computer game for this. So it goes back to, well, I'm going to pay $1,000 if that's the case to build a computer that more likely, just like my Xbox at one point, it's collecting dust. It's not. I don't play with it. I don't mess with it. It's just the fact that I have this system just to say, hey, I got an Xbox. But other than that, I don't mess with it.
Mm.
And with that said, I'm gonna give it to Glenn before Nico goes off on another tangent.
It sounds like you need to get some new friends by that metric. Right. So let's see. My week. I am anxiously awaiting the release of Uzumaki Spiral into Horror. That's going to be coming out on September 28th. Stupid excited about that. From the looks of it, it looks to be, well, very, very...
very pretty animation.
Very pretty animation, but also like dedicated to the original art. Because basically, like all the scenes that you see inside the trailer, it
They're
shows
all ripped right from the manga.
Exactly right. Yes. And I'm also super happy that it's not a movie. It's a series that's going to be coming out. So we'll see what happens. If we're super lucky, we get 2 seasons of it. Although maybe that would kind of suck because of the fact that
I think
the story would stop right in the middle.
Depending on the length of it, I think 1 season should be able to cover that entire book.
1 season should be able to cover this, true, but they might. I would
rather than pull out a different Junji Ito story. Like, what's the one about the fish that take over the town?
Yo,
that one. I want that.
Shit. Sorry, there was a child abduction in Ingham, Texas. No, it's
not funny.
No, it is not.
Who was laughing?
Nobody's laughing, man.
No, he got the nervous chuckle, so I was trying to make it worse.
Oh, I was like, who's laughing? Like, go ahead.
Anyways, so the name of that manga is called Gyo, and it is part of it's the second one in the I guess the 3 Junji Ito essentials, with the third being Tommy, or Tomi, pardon me, Tomi. Which is, about a crazy girl who gets cut up and then, she comes back and, fucks people up.
Oh, dude, Junji Ito shit is out there.
It's funny because I feel like he is the opposite of the guy from Studio Ghibli.
Isn't it something Hayao Miyazaki?
Miyazaki, right? Yes, Junji Ito is the polar opposite of Miyazaki, being that Junji Ito is like, he writes about this really fucked up shit, and then he's like a happy-go-lucky person, like super happy person.
Yeah, Miyazaki writes about all this happy stuff, and he's like a miserable old bastard.
He's like smoking a cigarette. God damn it, this will be my last show ever. Why won't death embrace me?
I swear, every time he puts out a new movie, all I can think of is he's just sitting in an animation studio smoking a cigarette going, 2 more weeks to retirement. I'm getting too old for this shit.
Right, basically. In other anime news, Dragon Ball Daima begins streaming on Crunchyroll on October 11th.
Ooh.
That is the last thing that Akira Toriyama ever signed off on.
So this is where I think all the Z fighters end up becoming children again.
Yes,
so it looks
that
like they're
correct.
kind of redoing GT in a sense.
A little bit, yeah.
I actually like GT.
Dude, I did too. But I was kind of bummed when I found out it wasn't canon because I thought like some of the villains in GT were fucking awesome. Like Omega Shenron's still one of the coolest like extinction level villains Dragon Ball's had.
Yeah. So it is Yeah, they're going to be having that come out. And then let's see, Spy X Family Code White is premiering here. Oh, pardon me. It already premiered on the 5th of September, so I need to watch that. And we already talked about Emi Shinohara, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, the original actress for the Sailor Moon anime who played Sailor Jupiter had passed away at 61.
Yeah, she also played she was in the like Japanese dub of like The Wizard of Oz and a bunch of other stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wasn't there another voice actor that died too?
Yeah, Japanese? she was Kaiho Mizuki in Cardcaptor Sakura. She was Kushina Uzumaki in Naruto. She was Ariochai Oichai. Oh wait, Eri Ochiai. Pardon me. Took 2 years of Japanese. I should know this. In Perfect Blue, which is probably one of my favorite
Perfect
animes.
Blue is a fucking amazing movie.
Oh, fucking love it. Like
it was if you ever get a chance to watch it, Rico, it's really, really great, like crime drama,
psychological horror.
Yes, psychological horror is the best way to put it. What's funny is it was originally put out to be a live action film, but he couldn't get it off the ground, so he's like, "Fuck it, let me just see if an animation studio will take it," and they did. And it's the weirdest thing because when you watch it, it feels like it could have been a live action movie.
And honestly, if they ever made a live action version of it, like
it'd be fucking great.
It would be fucking great. Especially if they did it with like, well-known actors and not like, Vietnamese drama actors. Like they tend to do with a lot of anime adaptations of live action. Like it's either, I don't know. It's one of those things where if they try to like with the live action adaptations of anime, it always feels like they try to find like new actors. They never try to get good actors. Say for I don't know. Unlike a lot.
Who's the dude from who played Scorpion in Mortal Kombat? What's his name? Something Takeshi, I think.
Oh, I know you're talking about.
But that's a video game. That's a video game, not
but he's one of the in my opinion, he's one of the best Japanese actors out there.
Yeah. But I honestly think that Perfect Blue could be done with like American actors and set it in an American city easily.
Yeah, it's a very
and it would do
interchangeable
just as well.
story. Like that could be told anywhere.
Yeah, and like make it star Ariana Grande, and it would actually fit because she was an actress before she was a singer.
Ana de Armas.
Well, okay. I'm not saying that she has to be like exactly. It doesn't have to be Perfect Blue in the perfect way. Maybe they can call it something else.
Fun fact about Perfect Blue: did you ever see Requiem for a Dream, Rico?
Oh,
no, because I value my life.
Oh, okay. First off, you need to watch Requiem for a Dream. That's really good. But there's a scene. So the director actually went out and bought the rights to use one of the scenes from Perfect Blue in Requiem for a Dream. And Glenn, you might remember this. It's
which
the
scene
where Jennifer Connelly is sitting in the bathtub and like sticks her head inside and starts screaming. That is shot for shot the exact same scene from Perfect Blue.
Huh. Interesting. I thought you were going to say like, the scene where the creepy dude corners her and tries to reenact the movie scene she played in. But that's a whole nother scene. Watch Perfect Blue. Don't watch it with your kids.
Yeah.
So
definitely
not with you.
I believe I watched it before. I swear the cover looks
it got pushed by Manga USA for years.
Then probably I actually have it in a tote with some other DVDs, or I gave it away. Now, as far as
dude, you need to watch it. Like my top two like favorite animes that I can always come back to. Perfect Blue is one of them, and the other one is Colorful.
Don't know that one.
Are you familiar?
No.
Oh, Monica Rial of ADV actually voiced a Girlzilla, where it was basically a gigantic Japanese girl walking around Tokyo. The tagline for the show was "Flowers are red, violets are blue. The show's about panties." So,
God.
it was basically, it's like a baseball bat to the head of an anime with like the crazy transitions. And at one point, like, there's this picture of this cat, and there's this old man who just screams out "pussy" like that really loud. And it's just a cat, and the cat's like meow, like, anyways, it's great. In other news, with all seriousness, I don't know if I talked about this beforehand. Paradise Killer, one of my favorite games to date. The game studio Kaizen Gameworks Limited is coming out with their second game, which is Promise Mascot Agency, where you explore a cursed Japanese town and recruit mascot friends and come to the rescue when disaster strikes. You have to basically find mascots and make them do your bidding.
Okay.
It's supposed to be kind of like a Yakuza drama. There's like this, squid guy. There's a cat, of course. I think one of the ones is like some sort of like refrigerator thing that, it's like a refrigerator that's like crying. So anyways, great promise for a company that released one game and hit it out of the park.
Nice.
What's up?
No, I was just saying nice.
Nice, yeah. There is a new shop simulator video game that's coming out. It is the TCG Card Shop Simulator, where you play as somebody who sells cards to a game, and you can open packs in the card game or in the game and sell the cards individually. And I think there's also some planned release where you can actually play the card game in the game.
This sounds so fucking greasy. I want to play it.
It's so bad. Yeah, it's TCG Card Shop Simulator.
Okay.
It currently has a demo out. It releases on the 25th of September of this year.
Nice.
So here in another couple of weeks.
Post that link in chat. I got to take a look at this.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to send it to you right now. So let's see here. There you go. All yours now, buddy.
Thank you.
No problem. So this week, additionally, I've been playing a game called Universe for Sale. It was one of the games that I got from the last Humble Bundle. And it's pretty freaking amazing. It is a story where you are this guy who belongs to this cult that believes in separating parts of your body in order to, achieve enlightenment. And so like you have, your head just kind of floats there. And it's your story with this young lady who interacted with something out in space that turned her hair into tentacles. And it's just a beautiful story taking place in a colony in the clouds of Jupiter. Completely surrealistic sort of imagery, beautifully animated, made by the Mimnesis folks, or the Mimnesis studio, that is kind of like an A24 of video games.
Okay.
Really, really great. Also started Kingdom Hearts 2 officially.
Nice.
And it's something else because of the fact that like basically Sora turns into a bitch, like just like a punk kid from this person, like, I believe in everybody's heart's able to, and then he turns into this like, I don't know, like a brat. Like, I don't know, I don't like it.
Bitch.
He's a little bitch, yeah. And I mean, honestly, I liked the games, the games that I played up to now, because I played Birth by Sleep, I played Chain of Memories, I played Kingdom Hearts 1. And
he apparently gets better in 3.
Apparently, he gets better in 3. Well, that's good. Yeah. The Haley Joel Osment, you can tell his voice changed between 1 and 2 because it's like it's like it sounds like a 30-year-old man sitting there and trying to act like he's 14, and it's weird. It's completely different. Also tried out Black Myth Wukong for the first time this week. Returning to Monkey.
We had an entire conversation about it.
Oh yeah, we did. Well, shit. Okay, sorry. I'm going off of what my list is. Let's see. Yeah, last played September 5th. Okay, yes, that was last week then. Well, I continued playing it, and so
sweet dude.
It must have. It is September 5th was the last day that we recorded, so it makes sense that also fits. So yeah. In addition, a video game called Silicon Dreams, where basically you are a robot that interviews other robots, and to prove that they are not broken. And if there's something wrong, you can have them repaired, which erases their memory and thus their personality. And so them in a, soft, erasing their personality or just outright destruction where they just die. So it can be kind of dark. And basically, if you do your job well, apparently the company's like, doing your job too well. Are you sure you aren't broken? It's like one of those things where I'm wondering if that's the route it's going to go, because some of the stuff that I've seen thus far in gameplay. But yeah, I would highly suggest Silicon Dreams and Universe for Sale for those on the indie game market. And everybody knows about Black Myth Wukong because Return to Monkey is awesome. Let's see what else. What else? The 210 Game Con is coming up. Recently saw an advertisement for that, and also my good friends are the ones who are running it. Met them through a mutual friend over at FlameCon, but it's going to be happening over here in San Antonio at the Schertz Civic Center from October 4th to October 6th. And it looks like it's going to be pretty awesome. They're going to have a silent disco at this one. So it seems like it's going to be more con than board game convention like FlameCon is. So sort of a, I don't know, more sociable sort of thing, instead of sitting there until 11 o'clock over a board with a bunch of other old guys.
Crazy
so
sweaty,
anyways,
man.
Not crazy sweaty, but I will say as a whole, here in San Antonio,
board gamers bathe a lot more than card floppers.
They really do.
That.
Yeah. Board gamers are a much cleaner breed than anime conventions.
Filthy card game players.
Card game players, or let's not even talk about the tabletop. Oh.
I read that one article about the Japanese girl that left.
Oh, it's so fucking gross.
And the guy thought it was him. The guy thought it was him, and she was like, "No, it just smelled so bad in there that I had to leave."
Mm-hmm.
He felt so bad because he's like,
I've heard stories about QuakeCon that would burn. That would burn your nose hairs off. I'm just gonna say this:
the amount of BO and ball sweat that would accumulate
just straight swamp ass that I'm sure accumulates, because you're in a high stress situation. You're seated on something for several hours,
and you're in the middle of
Texas. To mention in the middle of Texas. In the middle of Texas, surrounded by a bunch of guys who are in close proximity, because you rent I think it's like 2 or 3 feet of desk space. All that external airflow. It's just, dude, it just sounds like a fucking testicle barbecue, I'm sure. But Jesus Christ, or probably more like a smoker. Let me see.
Let me get that nice nutty smoky smell in my nostrils.
My thing is just, it amazes me how people, everybody, everybody's not the same. I can't even say it's the upbringing they had, but even at Awesome Con, and I can get my wife to talk about it later at another time. But yeah, when we try to get the autograph, I think the guy's name is Charlie Cox from the guy who plays Daredevil. When I get his autograph, again, I couldn't pinpoint who it was, but I swear to God, it was either the person in front of me or behind me because they had like a little snake kind of line for me. That yeah, their BO was bad, and it didn't help that they, like at least for the convention center, there's only certain spots where the air conditioning would blow. I mean, it was bad. Like I was like, come on, man, we're all grown. Like these are grown adults. You have to be at least my age or older. Wash your ass. Like what is that? How hard it is that to take? Even if you
I wonder if they offered like public showers at events like this, if people would actually use it.
You might get some people. You might shame enough people into doing it. I think where they'll.
So
they'll
did I
shower
ever tell y'all
before they
about
come.
Did I ever tell y'all about the AggieCon Febreze Fairy?
No, but that just sounds wrong.
Yeah.
So there is a or I should say was back in 2009 when I was over at Texas A&M. Every year they have this thing called AggieCon for Texas A&M Aggies, right? Fighting Texas Aggies, fucking love them. So only one and only college football team for me. Gotta love them. AggieCon, we had this guy who's dressed up in a tutu with a pink singlet on, and it was this fat ginger dude with like kinky curly hair, and he had like this like pistol belt covered in like Febreze products, right? And so what you do is you pay this guy $5, right? And he would run up and Febreze a room or a person and like do a little dance while he's doing it. And so like this guy, I don't know if I've told you all this story before while we were on here. So we're sitting there at playing, I think, some tabletop game, right? And there's this one gentleman who is spicy to say the least. Brother Straight smelled like a Frito pie. But so Febreze Fairy comes sashaying in, right? And he walks up behind the guy after doing this dance in the middle of the room, and everybody's watching him. And the Febreze Fairy's like, shh, 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 la la, and he like bounds out of the room, pleading the entire way. And the guy who gets Febreze is like the entire time he's getting Febreze, he's just like. And then after he's done, he's like, "That's the 5th fucking time today."
Oh my god.
Oh god.
It was so bad.
Somebody's playing a cruel joke, or it's like, buddy, take the hint.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus. It's like, oh man, maybe you need to read the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
It's different upbringings when it comes to that, and at least I don't know, sometimes even it takes maybe a significant other to go, "Hey, babe, you just came from outside, you just came from the gym or something."
Ass.
Yeah, you need to wash real quick, whatever. Like, oh, you stink. Like, oh, fine, I'll go wash.
I know there was also a group handing out bars of soap with like D20s inside of them, which I thought was really great. And there was one member of our group. This I think it was at a con over in Houston. And they were like, "Hey, I dug the D20 out of the soap." And I'm like, "You're supposed to wash yourself with it and it should naturally fall out." You know, like that's
my thing is my thing with that is just, and that's why I was laughing, is like there's gonna be that one person that doesn't use a washcloth and they use the whole bar of soap and they accidentally wash the crack of their butt and the D20 goes right up.
Bloop.
And I don't know if that's going to be a nat 20 or a nat 1, but either way, that's going to be a party.
Well, it depends if he's playing the if he's playing the fatal system. He has to roll for anal circumference first.
Oh my god!
I'm just wondering to myself, like if that accidentally happens, you don't know about it, right? Mm-hmm. And then you rip one while you're sitting, and then it falls out of your pants.
Pause. Are you telling me that you couldn't feel if you accidentally jammed a D20 up your ass?
It's only like that big, man.
Dude,
No,
I can
D20
feel
is
a
like
light breeze on my asshole. How the fuck are you not feeling D20s?
Dude, did I tell you about the time that I got an almond stuck sideways in my asshole?
What the fuck is this podcast? No, fuck it. That's the name right there. Did I ever tell you about the time I got an almond stuck sideways in my asshole?
that one time in almond camp or something.
Don't seriously. Did I ever say that story
No,
before?
you didn't, but you're gonna have
No,
to now.
why would it come out? Like there I was.
Jesus Christ.
There
All
I
right,
was
so
in almonds.
no shit, there I was over in Kuwait. I was on a dependent restricted tour with my signal company, and I was living in the barracks there, and it was the transient barracks. So basically, you're waiting for a room to open up. My sister, my dear beautiful sister, sent over a box of goodies, of pokey bait, for me to enjoy, of which was this massive bag of smoked almonds. And over the course of an entire season of One Piece, I consumed this entire bag of smoked almonds.
Okay.
And apparently, with the way that I ate them, apparently I did not chew one
dislocated
properly.
your jaw and slurped the bag.
Well, and I just popped them in my mouth and ate them. Anyways, I was eating a lot of them. They're so freaking tasty, bro. It was so good. Anyways, that whole almond made its way through my entire system. One day, went to go take care of business. Had the nuttiest shit this side of Squirrel Town, and then my asshole really hurt. Went over to about my day, and I thought that I just popped a roid or something, right? And so that following morning, I went into the shower and I was checking things out, as I was washing to make sure that, there wasn't any permanent damage from, whatever happened. And I felt something hard, sideways in the hole. And I was like, what the fuck is that? So I went in there and, grabbed it out. And the pain immediately went away. Looked down, and there was a fucking almond that had been stuck sideways in my asshole.
I take it back, Glenn. You probably wouldn't feel a D20 getting lodged up your rectum.
It's so.
I want to say that we went like this, but then it oddly kind of went like this.
It's so. So I went to the doc to get it checked out. Got a couple of loops put in, and then my commander saw my entire nutsack.
Wait. Go back to what you just said. You said went to see the doc, which is funny as hell, depending if.
Well, because there was some residual pain, bud.
I had to sew his asshole back together.
No, not sewed. No, it was. I had.
Because you went looped or something. I put a loop.
Right. Well, whenever because of the problem, of course, I had hemorrhoids.
Yep.
And so they were like, "Hey, we can take care of that." And so, in the process of getting a hemorrhoid taken care of, what they do is they do a ligation. For you young men who haven't experienced the joy of ligation, it's quite literally they put a rubber band around your hemorrhoid, and then it dies. Kind of like how they do goats or bulls and stuff like that.
Nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I mean, except it's a blood vessel in your asshole. And so, anyways, then turn around. Turn around to you. I had this itty bitty little teeny tiny Asian lady doctor that was doing this on me, and I've never seen such determination in one's eyes as someone's been between my legs working on something. She's like, anyways.
I don't know.
Another funny story is later on, about 3 months later, I socked the living shit out of her. And with the permission of my first sergeant,
we went from almond to my ass to female doctor beating. What the fuck?
So let me explain it. So this is a story that keeps on giving. So anyways, yeah. So they after I got ligated, my platoon sergeant came in to come check me out and make sure I'm okay because I was in the hospital getting something done. And then he was like, hey, and of course I'm on drugs at the time. I'm high as a fucking kite. And he's like, hey, Han, do you think the command team's here? Do you think they can come in and visit with you? And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, right? And of course, like I have female type commander, female type battalion commander, and the rest of my command team was dudes. And everybody from my command team walks in because their star satcomer is laid up in the hospital with a fucked up ass. And apparently being a big guy as I was, tallest guy in my unit, the gown that they had me in only came up so far, and everything was on display. So yeah, that was how my commander saw my genitals. Now the story on how I ended up punching the lady who fixed my asshole. That was because we were in a combatives level 2 course together. There was a
that's a better way to put it.
There was a drill that we did where there was a designated puncher, and there was 2 people coming down the lane with rubber duckies, fake M16s, in full battle rattle. And so me being the puncher, she was one of the people, he was one of and there was some other guy that was a person. So anyways, they're coming down the way. I lane to this dude, fucking give it to him. He's down for the count. She has to take me out and cover me with a weapon, right? That was the drill. My first sergeant comes over and he was like, hey man, hey, come here. That was a great fucking punch. Now, what I need you to do is do the same exact thing for her. I'm like, okay, first sergeant, yeah, I'll do that. He's like, okay. All right, so they're coming down the way. Everybody's looking, right? And this lady has to be at least like 2/3 my height. She might be 5 foot.
Yeah.
Right. And so I come in with the force of me. And I sock her in the face. She hits and like slides, right? and like everybody's like, oh my God, like, and then the other dude, does this thing and, takes me out and covers me. And everyone's like, why the hell did you hit her like that, Han? Oh my God. And then first sergeant came in. He was like, hey, I told him to do that because, these guys out here on the street, they're going to pull punches just because you're not the same size as them. This is real training, and they were like, oh, okay, all right. She came out afterwards. She was like, hey, man, nice punch. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. That was that. So, yeah, that was 3 stories on my life. And that was my week. Take it away, Nico.
All right. My week was pretty fun. My garbage disposal decided that it wanted to exfoliate with buckshot and started smoking. So usually that means the motor's dead. So I did find out it is very easy to swap out a garbage disposal if you have an incinerator, which I happen to have. So $200 later, I got a 3/4 horsepower beast sitting under my sink that'll shred everything down to grains of rice.
Man, doing some manly stuff.
Oh yeah, dude.
Man, dude, that's like some fucking Flintstones great shit.
Give you credit that you can knock out stuff.
It's a living.
For manly maintenance stuff, I don't know. You don't look the part though.
I have to do everything in this house, like the flooring. That was myself and my buddy did that.
I have seen Nico actually do man stuff before.
I do man stuff. I just don't look like I do man stuff. I have man hands.
No, he has the skill.
I have the skill. I'm just lazy as fuck.
About your parents.
Hey,
I'm just finishing that sentence for you.
Listen, my mom is well aware of how lazy I am. I will procrastinate up until the last minute and then be like, oh yeah, I need to do that, and then do it. But it gets done eventually. And if I
He's got
don't
the
feel like doing it, I pay someone to do it. Because that's the benefit of being lazy.
It's the ad huda.
Exactly. I also started. I don't know if I talked about this last week. I started doing spray paint art.
Yes, you posted it.
Okay, yeah. So
dude,
I posted what
the
I
street
did.
art. You've taken people's jobs.
Yeah, isn't that stuff that like those like crack addicts do on the side of the road and charge you $5 for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I bought them before.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah,
So I started making them, all because there is a YouTuber.
Crack addict street art, totally awesome.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I'm kidding.
It's because I started taking crack.
It's an outlet.
So once you start taking
there
crack,
you
you have to do it.
Yeah. I'm real sensitive about crack personally.
Yeah, I know. I've
joke.
seen it on this show of all places. So the guy's name is Casey Does Everything. I highly recommend everybody go take a look at him. He does fantastic planet arts, and just like the things this man can do with spray paint is fucking amazing. So that's been fun. TV show wise, I watched a little more House, and then I, for whatever reason, veered way left and started watching Trailer Park Boys again. Just to find that my dad is just Ricky. Like, just throwing it out here, I might be related to Ricky. We both have the same shitty facial hair and are partially retarded. So, but no, if you guys haven't watched Trailer Park Boys, it is absolutely fantastic. That is the most Canadian trash that you can get your hands on. It's
we'll confirm.
It's
right behind Letterkenny.
Oh,
I love it.
Oh no, I think Trailer Park Boys wins.
Well, that's what I said.
You said right behind Letterkenny, which I think
Letterkenny
Trailer Park Boys
is the far
is the.
I'm going to say this: Letterkenny is funny because it's smart.
Yeah. And Trailer Park Boys is funny because it's real. That it's Canadians pretending to be American, and they're pulling it off better than Americans do.
Yeah. Something I didn't mention. I apologize for interrupting.
Oh, yeah,
I got caught in a chicken foot.
Shit.
Oh, totally. Did you know Family Guy's celebrating their 25th anniversary?
Really?
Yeah,
Family
and they
Guy's
have
still
like a
big?
whole like. Yeah, it really is. They're having a new season in 2025, but no, they have like a whole thing on Hulu right now. I recently watched The Best of Peter and saw season 1, episode 1, and it is garbage. Absolute garbage.
That first season is rough.
Really rough, but the way that they kind of have a showcase of stories that show off different characters, highly suggest it on Hulu. Totally awesome. Yep. Pay me money, Hulu.
They won't. They
won't.
If you do happen to die at one of the Disney cruises, though, Hulu might just fuck you from the grave. So that's a possibility.
They have to get the almond out of the way first.
Jeez. Yeah, no, that's totally the podcast name. Anyway, yeah, so we watched Trailer Park Boys. Love Trailer Park Boys. Super, super good. I've also been playing a few games. Played some more Peglin. Love Peglin. My baby just woke up, so that's going to be fun. You know what? That's my week. I'll be right back. You guys talk about something.
So,
going back to
dear listener, I do apologize if I've scarred any of you from eating any sort of American nut products. It is one of America's finest things that it has available is our agricultural history and culture. So continue to consume American agricultural products and make sure to chew twice before you swallow. Same goes for whenever you're blowing Chuck Norris.
I think I think your story is a prime example of stuff that happens, especially when you start growing older, that you don't think about that will happen to your body. Because your story, the only thing that would have made me laugh even more is that we have as the last unit I was with, we had combat medics. So a lot of times you didn't go see doc. You'll go to one of the combat medics and, hey man, I'm having an issue. Like if you're sick or whatever, and oh yeah, cool. And I was hoping that's where the story was gonna go to at one point, was before you saw the doc, you go to one of your buddies that was a combat medic if you had him in your unit, and be like, hey dude, I need you to look at my butthole real quick because something's not right.
There was a conversation that I had with my.
Some dudes are comfortable with it. They're like, yeah, go ahead, drop your butt. Like, Right now, yeah, man, you'd be in the middle of a tent with everybody else.
I had a squad leader that I told about it, and he was like, "Hey, man, listen, doesn't matter what's going on. We got the doc right there. Take care of it. You go. We'll be okay without you." I was like, okay. So he was kind of the not my fucking problem, bro. go talk to the people whose problem that is.
The minute you go, hey, something wrong with my booty hole. Yeah, that's we're good. I believe you. You sure I can? Nah. Doc's over there. Good day.
I was also at this point in my life, I was on my way to being the best in shape that I ever was, and so my fiber was way up. So I'm thinking things could have been far worse had I had fatter cheeks. That's one of those things, right?
Wow. Well, boys,
also
we are 5 minutes to 2 hours. Do we got anything we want to keep going with?
I'm so sorry.
I'm not sorry. We got to hear about a funny story where Glenn got an almond stuck in his asshole.
And Hunter wasn't here to hear it, so he couldn't.
Oh, yeah, that motherfucker was supposed to come in for like the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, this was a great episode. I think this was one of our good episodes.
I enjoyed it.
We should just, fuck it. I shouldn't do my week anymore. I'll just tell a funny story from my past, and that'll just be it. That'll be my part.
The whole, there I was.
There I was in music class. Oh boy.
I do at some point want to tell the story about when I was abducted by the little old Chinese woman. One day I will tell that story.
And that's when Nico had the first stirrings of his yellow fever.
No, that was Power Rangers, man. That happened way younger.
I see.
Anyway, I think that's a podcast.
I think that's a podcast.
I think that's a podcast.
All right, everybody. All right. Since we don't get any wisdom from Captain Dick Tickler of the NASCAR ring this week, I'm going to leave you with some advice. Don't eat so many almonds where when you go to poop one out, it gets stuck in your butthole.
True words. True. Good night, everybody.
Oh! Before we do that, if anybody out there has wants to comment in on the show, send us a message, ask us questions. We are open. The email address is nerdverseodyssey@gmail.com. I repeat, Glenn, that is Rico.
Nerdverseodyssey @gmail.com.
Nerdverseodyssey@gmail.com.
Oh yeah, nerdverseodyssey@gmail.com. Anyway, that is a wrap, boys. Everybody have a good night. Take care.
Drink water.
Before you tap it. Well.